Yeah, I think it's very important to be able to speak to these students like this and be able to reach out to them, because you never know what is actually resonating to students, and you don't know what type of households they come from, what type of background they come from. So you don't know, you may be the only source of creativity or inspiration that these kids actually have. So me knowing that is what really fuels me to do it, because like the youth is our future, and if we aren't instilling this in them that these things are possible, they grow up with these old mentalities, the old style of thinking, which this is 2019. Like, the world is totally different from how it was when I was growing up, and you know what I'm saying, others like myself. So it's very different how we have to actually teach these kids and engage with them for them to understand that they can do a lot of things that we didn't even know that we could do back when when I was their age. But it's very important, and I love doing it, and it's one of the most important things that I wish I could do more of. Because the more people that I can influence and the more people that I can inspire, that's when I feel like I'm really doing what I was put on this earth to do. I always talk about not measuring your success to other people's success, because everyone has their own journey. So with me in social media didn't really exist when I was young. When I was y'all age, we didn't have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, none of that stuff existed when I was y'all's age. So I wasn't able to be exposed and see all of the things that people are doing now. But now you see so many people like posting all of the success, or what seems to be success, and you think that, oh, this person is younger than me and they have more than what I do, so what am I doing wrong? When a lot of the times people don't realize it's what you call a facade. You might know what a facade is. It's like basically when you make it seem more than what it actually is. So a lot of people on social media, they do that. They make it seem like they're doing all this, they're working with these people, when they're really not. They're just taking photos and saying something, people believe it. So once I moved to LA and I started realizing that, I'm like, hold up, these people they don't have their stuff together as much as they act like they really do. So, and the more I worked hard and kind of continued on my own journey, all of my stuff started making sense. You know what I mean? All of my stuff started coming together. I started booking more jobs, more jobs regularly, and I started working with bigger names and things like that. And your time is gonna come when it's supposed to come for you. You just can't measure your time. You can't measure your success to anyone else's, because everybody's journey is different. Everybody's lifestyle is different. So just know that what's meant for you will always be for you. And as long as you stay consistent, and you know you're not slacking off and you're working hard at it, your time gonna come when it's supposed to come.
When I was y'all age, social media wasn't like, how it is now. But I do struggle with that now. Like, sometimes I will compare my success to somebody else's, like another stylist. Like, another stylist will post a celebrity they worked with, and they'll, be posting like their success and what they've been doing, and then I'll start questioning myself, like, dang, I'm not doing that. What do I need to do? I'm not doing good enough. But then I have to like kind of check myself, like, I am doing good, like at my pace that I'm doing. So what I do is I'll put my social media stuff, like, I'll put my phone down, and I have this book that I write my ideas in, and I'll just take time to really get creative, and I'll write it down. And what I do is I'll start having my own checklist. Like, say if I want to create something, I had an idea, like, I'll get a team together to create it, and then eventually, like, I'll do it and check that off. And that's like my own success, my own path that I'm going at, my own pace I'm going at. So I'll try not to compare myself to other people, because if you do, you'll get caught up in that, and you'll start putting yourself down even more when that person's not even thinking about you. They're doing their own thing. So you comparing yourself to somebody else's success is not gonna work in your favor at all. So like what he said, you have to go at your own pace and measure your own success and not someone else's. You guys in here watch YouTube and stuff, so people do a lot of things for attention, and I feel like that, like, you have to have a certain mindset to know, like, that person's doing that for attention, or not to follow that person. I know you guys know, like, what's right from wrong, and you guys have to be your own person. For me, when I see people doing stuff for attention, it's simple just to ignore it. It depending on what it is. Also, like, if it's not a positive influence, you don't follow it. You don't try to be like that person or entertain it, because it's always gonna be people doing something for attention.
I mean, it's definitely very important to have a positive image, because that's what's going to help you develop like clientele and things like that. But you also realize a lot of people do things just strictly for attention. Like, even far as myself, like, the majority of things that I do, I don't really post it on social media all the time or do different things, because I'm genuinely working and trying to build a business and be great at what I'm doing. And when you're doing something genuinely, the people who are meant to receive it and see it are gonna see it. You know what I mean? So you don't always have to throw everything that you're doing in people's faces, because when you're genuinely working and you're doing positive things and good things, the people that it's meant for, they're gonna see it and they're gonna receive it for what it is.
If you put out like something that you like, say if you put out something negative for attention, right, you're only going to receive negative energy back. So you want to put out what you want to get back. For me, I feel like you have to be very confident, and like with anything you do, you have to trust yourself. You know, I can't want to be a stylist and I wear something and I'll be like, oh, I don't know if people gonna like it, I shouldn't do it. With me, I feel like there's no rules to fashion. Now other people may think differently, but I just feel like you could wear what you want, and I feel like that's what makes me you know, the stylist that certain people like. And you're not always going, we're doing anything, you're not going to always please everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not always going to like it. Just like if you have an opinion about something, that person's not going to always have the same opinions as you. But does that mean you have to change how you feel about something? No. So for me, I feel like it's very important to have that confidence. And then even with trying to pursue this as a job, if I want people to come to me so I can dress them, I can't be like, okay, yeah, I can dress you. I don't know if it's gonna look right. You know, I have to have confidence. Like, yeah, if you put this on, you're gonna be popping, turn around, spinning it. Everybody gonna like it. Glitter gonna come out the coat. Everything. You know, I have to be confident and just like really like make that person confident. Because as a stylist, you know, we want people to feel good in what we put them in. Because that's the whole point of them coming to us. I really like constructive criticism. Like, I'm somebody who loves other people's opinions. Now, I don't always like, if somebody tell me something, I don't always go with that, or I don't have to always agree with it. But other people's opinions, you know, sometimes help with my work. Like, I just like to hear other people's thoughts, and then working with people, I take their opinions. Like, if they feel like something isn't complimenting on them, I take that in so I can change it and make it to where they will like it. So constructive criticism for me, it works with my job. Like, I kind of need that.
One of the big things with, like you said, with being a wardrobe stylist and being what we consider a tastemaker or a trendsetter, is you have to be able to step outside of the box and do something that people haven't seen. Majority of the time, when you do something that people haven't seen, the initial response is to not like it because you don't understand it at the time. But if you let it sit for a little while and you really understand the reason this person did it, you'll tend to kind of receive it better, and then you'll actually start to like it. So when it comes to being a stylist, you have to do these things, because if I'm doing the exact same thing that another stylist is doing, you might as well book the other stylist than me. You know what I mean? It's like, what is the difference between me and that person? So you have to find a way to differentiate yourself. Um, that's one of the biggest things about being a stylist, because you can't be afraid of what people are gonna say, because you can't change the world by doing stuff that's already been done. So you have to be the one that's bold enough to be able to step outside and do something that hasn't been done yet. So that's one of the biggest things with being in the, not even just being a wardrobe stylist, but being anything, whether it's the tech world, whether it's computers and all that kind of stuff. You have to be able to do something that people haven't seen in order to change the world. But everyone isn't going to understand it until it's picked up by the masses. I would never be the person to say that I haven't been influenced by other people. I feel like that's a good way to create your own style. So what I do personally is I research. I do a lot of research about vintage things from back in the day, older stuff, things like that, and then I mix it with something new. So that's how you develop something new of your own, because there's nothing new under the sun. You know what I mean? Something's always been done before. But what aspect of your own do you add to it to make it something new instead of completely like copying it? My biggest influence right now, probably when it comes to my fashion, low key, my biggest influence is my son. So I have a son, he's about to be 2 years old. And with me starting to design clothes, that is me developing something that my son can be a part of as he gets older. So my son will never have to work for anyone else because of something that I've already built, you know what I'm saying, geared towards him. Because I'm so into style, like I dress my son cool. My son has some cool shoes and he has the cool clothes and stuff like that. And once you're grown up into it and it's not forced onto you, that's the life that he already is kind of raised up in. Hopefully he'll be into it as much as I am, and he'll already have kind of a base set to where he's at, so he won't have to work for anyone else. He'll already kind of have something developed that I started for him. So that's kind of the thing that urges me to keep going, and knowing that I'm doing this to build something for my son, so I need to have this figured out by the time he's of age to take it over.
I've had a lot of opportunities where I worked with certain celebrities or high status people, or I shouldn't even say that, because I feel like when working with anybody, if this is something that you want to do, you should always be prepared. You should always be professional and always want to give your best. So for me, I think that's very important. Like, I always make sure I ask a lot of questions just so I can see what that person's comfortable with, what they, may desire as far as a look, or how they even feel about me, and I give my ideas, and I do a lot of communication to prepare for it, and then I make sure I have enough time, and I kind of just like really like I study that person a lot, because for me, since I'm still up and coming, I work with a lot of people who like I don't get to see them. For some stylists, I know you may do like fittings and things, and that's where you'll meet that person and try clothes on, or like you get to measure them and things. For me, I don't get to do that, so I have to, like, somebody will send me their sizes, and I just have to go off that. Like, I've never seen that person before or anything. So I have to prepare a lot. Like, I look at their pictures, I study them, I ask them a lot of questions to get prepared, and then even so, like, I make sure the clothes are prepared. Like, I look at them, you got to steam them, and just make sure they're not looking bad, because you want to go to an opportunity with the best, because you never know what can happen from that opportunity. That opportunity can bring so many more opportunities. So you always want to give your best and be professional with anybody you work with. So not even if I was to work with a celebrity, that's just with anybody. If one of you guys booked me to style y'all, I would come with my best, to do everything that I would do even if you were a celebrity. It'd be the same thing. So that's very important.
Being prepared is super important because in the long run, it makes your job easier. Because if you're not prepared, you end up finding yourself scrambling, trying to make things work. Just ill prepared, and the more prepared you are, the better you look. So the more people want to work with you. When you make things easier for other people, that's when people want to work with you more. So that's why people get styled, because they don't know how to do it. So they need someone to do it for them that can make it easy. So the better prepared you are, the easier it makes the whole day go by. So everything from, like you're saying, from getting the clothes to steaming the clothes out to making sure outfits are already put together, so you're not still, when you don't want to be in front of a client and now you're still trying to put stuff together. You want to already have that kind of stuff prepared, separated. Okay, this outfit is for this outfit is for that, this outfit for this. If this don't work, we're going to exchange it with this shirt. So you want to already have all that stuff done on the back end before you actually get on set. So being prepared is the biggest thing, because if you're the one person slowing down a production, that's bad for business, and people never want to work with you again. One thing with business, and this goes for anything, with anything that you guys do, even in school right now, so you can start practicing this tomorrow. Always be over prepared. Always be over prepared. So if your teacher asks you for, let's say you got to do a paper, let's say you got to write an essay, be over prepared. Have more information than what your teacher is actually asking you for, but so they can take what they need from it. You know what I mean? So always be over prepared, because you'd rather be over prepared than under prepared. So if I have a client and I need to style 3 looks, I bring 12 looks. You know, just to make sure if anything ever goes wrong, you have a backup choice. So just always be over prepared, or as the tone of y'all understand the term of crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Just always make sure you got everything covered. Think about whatever can go wrong. Imagine if it went wrong, and how would you fix it? So that's what. So if you was to rip your pants or something, I need an extra pair of pants to make sure, just in case those pants rip, I got another pair of pants. You know what I mean? So always make sure you got every base covered.
I try to do my best to make sure nothing goes wrong, but stuff will go wrong sometimes. So if something does go wrong, you just have to know. You just have to be prepared to fix it. Just like he said, if you feel like your pants gonna rip, then have an extra pair of pants. But like sometimes things happen that's not in your control, and you just have to be able to hold yourself together and not let that go wrong. Say if I'm supposed to style somebody and the shirt don't fit and I don't have no extra shirt, just because I was prepared, but I wasn't overly prepared or something. That's why I was going to be overly prepared. But if something went wrong and something happened, I have to be able to just be in that moment and be like, okay, well, I got this jacket we can do instead of the shirt. Like, you got to be able to work in that moment if something does go wrong and not get down on yourself, because sometimes things do happen. So if something does go wrong, I just try to figure it out at that moment. Like, okay, what can I do to fix it? Because things aren't perfect. Stuff will happen that's not in your control. So it's best to be overly prepared, and if still something happens, you gotta just don't get down on yourself, make it work. A lot of people know that I want to be a wardrobe stylist and of course style like a lot of celebrities and get like, you know, real known for that for my work. But like my long-term goal is to be able to travel, like go to different schools and like do what I did today in a whole bunch of different places and just inspire and motivate kids and let them know like you can do exactly what I'm doing. You can follow your dream. So it felt really, really good to do that.